Hi and welcome back. I'm here again with another Stormworks video, and in this video we're going to be showcasing my advanced water cannon touch controls. And this updated version of my previous touch controls workshop mod, or microcontroller I guess you would call it, it allows using a water tank, and you can connect the water tank to the display and you can actually get readouts of how much water you have remaining and your maximum capacity and things like that. So jumping into the editor, we see we just have like a basic setup here. We have our water cannon. Um, we have a display. We have a battery box. We have our pump. We have our microcontroller, and we have piping going to a custom fuel tank, which is complete with a fluid port. This seems to be an error. Looks like we have a spawner and a port, but we also need a meter. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a meter out and put it inside of this tank, because we're going to need that to actually check our capacities, things like that. So it'll just go in here like this, and then you have piping that goes out of here through the fluid port and then over, which I think this one's the fluid port, yep. Piping from the fluid port out to the pump, from the pump into the cannon. So we also have a button in here to turn our screen on. So we'll start with connecting everything to electricity. We'll go from the battery, we'll hold control. Boom, everything's connected. Then we'll connect our touch input and our video output. Then we'll go to the data tab on our logic controller. We'll connect the swivel to the swivel input, and then same thing with nozzle pitch. And then we'll connect the pump to our on-off on the controller itself. We'll connect our button to our monitor. See, we don't need that. Now here's what we're going to need. We're using a custom tank, so we'll have to connect both capacity and level. You can technically just connect fluid level, and I believe it should work. It works with the pre-built tanks. So if you're using a pre-built tank, just only connect to the fluid level input. If you are using a custom tank, then you need to connect both, but I do believe it still works if you only connect level. Yeah, if you're only connecting one input, make sure it's on the level, not capacity. If you set it on capacity, you'll get readouts of 0 on the monitor, which is incorrect. So that's how you would set this up. Very simple installation. And so we'll just go ahead and spawn it now. And with the spawn, we'll show you what's changed. So, see, here's our screen. We can use a 2x2 monitor now. I've updated the whole thing to where it accepts any size screen. We could actually just throw a HUD on here, and a HUD would work as well. And so we have a little button down here in the bottom left. I'll show you what that does in a minute. Our controls work as normal. You know, the arrows are a lot more cleaned up. We could turn it on, off. It works flawlessly. And then clicking this bottom left corner button, we have a capacity screen, and this is actually reading out from our tank. And we get a nice little readout. We have how many gallons we have out of the current, like the total amount available in this tank. And then we have like a bar, like a meter that runs down and gives us a percentage. And so we'll just run this down a little bit, and we'll show you what else has changed with it. So just watching it tick down, You can see the bar. It's actually doing the correct calculations, and we have this in gallons. which is nice if you're in the US. Gallons make a lot more sense than liters. Um, I'll make another video going over all of the Lewis scripting for this. It got a lot more complex once we started to add this second screen, which is, it's fine. Um, but there are like some conversions, like for liters to gallons and things like that we've done here. So now I'll show you what happens when this runs out. If we go back to our first screen, you can see it switched the pump automatically to off. I mean, we can click this as many times as we want now, and it will not turn the pump on. We also see that we have like a caution, like a little caution box now instead of our normal button. So that's telling us that there's an error. So we need to go to the fluid level screen, see what's going on with our water. So it's a nice little heads up that, hey, you're out of water, or hey, something's wrong. Come check here. You see you're out of water, and you need another setup to actually pump water back into our custom tank. That's a separate thing you would have to have added. You can't actually use this pump to pump water like throughout a system, like from here. Like you're gonna need two pumps if you use a setup like this, if you want to keep this tank filled. So that's how you set this up. That's what's changed with it. We'll go back. We'll show like how it works with the HUD. There may be a couple things I need to change with this, like the opaqueness of elements displayed on the screen, things like that. But we'll just go ahead. We'll show you that it works. Paint that white because that's a little annoying. Okay. If I can get it rotated correctly. And then we'll just connect it the same way we would a TV screen. Touch input, video output, and we have power there. It's good to go. We can go ahead and spawn this. Now we can take a look at how this displays on a HUD. So you can actually see it's quite transparent by default. And we get a really good readout. I can push this somewhere we can see it a little better. We get a pretty good readout there. This HUD is really nice if you want like nice big controls. I really wouldn't recommend using a screen larger than this. It gets a little ridiculous by that point. So anything bigger than the large HUD probably is not so good on this. You can look here, like we could display like there's enough space here we could display around 1 million gallons or more. So it's this large HUD is definitely all you're going to need at the most. We can show you there is a little bit of a change on the small screen. Actually, it doesn't appear. Oh, it shows up. Yeah, it's perfect. I'll show you there's a couple changes if you do decide to use a small screen. And there's just a bit minor changes to the display itself. Oh, I have to hook it up. Touch input. Video output. And then connect it to the power switch. We can spawn it. I'll show you the changes to the display. So you can see it's pretty similar to how we had it originally, but again, the arrows are nice and close in next to the on-off button for the pump. So we go ahead and turn it on. It feels really nice and pushed in when we click it. And then on this screen, we don't get any digital readouts other than the capacity of our tank. So you can see our tank capacity, and then we just get a bar that runs down without a percentage. So it's nice to know like how many gallons can you store, so you get a rough idea of how long this pump is going to run for on this setup, and you still know when you're empty. And another change is this button here, you'll see it doesn't actually display a yellow exclamation point in there when you run out of water. What's going to happen is it's going to switch off. It's going to switch itself off when it runs out, and then this box is going to change to yellow. It still displays some type of like caution, like warning, that type of thing. So there it is, and we can click it, and yeah, we see we're empty on the bar readout. So that's it. That's all of the changes to this. It's a more advanced version. It allows inputs from a tank, get digital readouts, percentages, bars. It's pretty cool now. So that's how you would hook this up. Some of the features that have changed. So hopefully this is a good explanation of whether or not this is going to be right for you, based off of just what it does and what you might use it for in your own builds. So